What's up, good people? Let's do a spring compression on a GMB body. It's a go. All right, items needed: tape measure, some type of lubricating oil. I used air compressor oil. The actual tool kit from your local store. You got the hooks, the shaft with the 3 washers on the bottom, and the fork. Make sure when you install the spring, you make notation of the dot on the spring that goes up into the vehicle towards the top part. So it's not multi-directional. It does go in one way. Next one I'm gonna take some of the oil and lubricate the shaft so it's not dry and it doesn't heat up as much. Make sure when you're doing this, do not get the spring oily if possible. Next, we're gonna couple the shaft with the hooks. You're gonna drop it in from the top. Notice I'm trying to avoid touching the springs with my gloves. The reason being, if you get the spring greasy, the hooks will slide when you try to start compressing the springs. I've had that happen to me before, and it was very aggravating, to say the least. After you've got that done, you're gonna take the fork and make sure it's facing up. There's an indentation on the bottom of the fork where the 3 washers rest when you start compressing it. Next, I'm gonna hand tighten it down until I get enough tension on it. And I'll use either a torque wrench or air compressor impact gun. I prefer the impact gun. The directions clearly say do not use air tools, but hey, that's me being me. Make sure after you set the forks and the hooks and the shaft, it's up and down vertically. You don't want it to be at an angle. If you do, the spring is not going to compress up and down. It's going to almost compress like a slinky, and that's not going to work. So make sure the shaft is straight as possible. Next, find your something flat. Maybe I use a piece of wood for the fork to rest on so the spring doesn't rotate as you tighten the shaft. So see how that's sitting on the piece of wood? And I start tightening it with a breaker bar. I forget what size bolt it is on the end of the shaft. I think it was maybe a 19 or a 20 something. But I'll do that long enough just to put more tension on it. And when I feel it getting a little too tight, then I break out the impact gun. Like I said, they say on the directions, do not use an impact tool on this. So what I'm doing now, using a tape measure to get a general idea of the length of the spring before compression. So I know how far to go when I do the other side. So right now it's 16 inches. And it's not really compressed. So there we go with the impact gun. And I have a small, I think that's a 30-gallon compressor. Notice how I'm not in front of the spring or behind the spring. I'm on the side of it. So if it does pop, I can run. It was 16 inches at first. Let's see what it is now. From 16 to 12, so that's 4 inches down. And check out how I had the forks on the wood so it doesn't spin. Remember, safety. This is one of those days or one of those jobs you do not want to drink. You do not want to throw back one in the garage with the bros or the ladies. And that's it. It's compressed. Note, I still have fear for this thing, though. Watch how I pick it up gently and away from me. So that's it. The spring is compressed, and I put this one on one side and do the other side. Hey, thanks for watching. Please be safe when doing this. I was still nervous.